What is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? The ones within. Very weird episode this week. A lot of things were kind of touched up upon and also, left us wanting more, like always. But to learn a little bit more about our two, like, strongest, well, I don't know if they're the strongest. I want to say our two most eager people to not follow the actual rules or like the game. They just want to have this thing in. They don't want to put up with this as much as everybody else is putting up with it or going for the actual goal that's set for them. They're the ones that are capable of trying to leave and get out of here. So to see that and to know that we got, the backstory of both of them kind of like they're pretty much the inseparable pair of this show. Like there's a lot of people that seem like they're pairing off and they've already been paired off since like the very jump of the show. So it kind of makes sense that their stories would be their backstories will be told at the same time, seeing how they do so much together all the time in this show. So we pretty much learned that at the very beginning, our main Japanese game player probably was really good at these games because he put more effort into them than he does with whatever his old geezer, as he calls him, was trying to teach him. And that seemingly was the fighting style of the sword or something along. It seemed like something fighting, right? Like it seemed like something in the martial arts department, and because of that, he didn't want to be a tool for whatever his grandpa had in mind for him, so he just kept probably defying him and doing whatever he wanted, and I'm guessing that's why he was so good at the game enough or games to be chosen, is because that's maybe one way he was defying him. And to see him like leave it out and then look at his sword, uh it kind of gave the feeling of like, sure, he's learned all these things that he never wanted to learn, or he was doing it, because of a person he didn't want to do it for himself. He was doing it for someone else. Um, he built up some type of bond of with that weapon, right? Like he has some type of fondness for it, and when you're somebody that's been going through absolute like just bad day after bad day because of someone else wants you to learn something, you usually despise those tools that were helping that person get their way. You usually don't want anything to do with them. So to see him do kind of the complete opposite of that gave me a feeling that maybe he was a little disappointed that he had to, go out the way that he was going out. In the grand scheme of just his grandfather hating him and this and that. But the way it came off, it sounded like it was both ways, right? It didn't sound like, oh, my grandfather hates me and I love him. Like it seemed like he hated him too. So it wasn't any love lost there. But when you're a kid, when you're, well, maybe not, maybe a teen, if you're a teen or younger, it still hurts. It still hurts like crap to know that someone who's your blood, someone who's supposed to take care of you from step to step, is the one thing that's making your life miserable. And that was pretty much another good reason why he wanted to leave in the first place. But then you get back to the notion of then we get the other backstory of the stealth guy who the reason why he's even in this game in the first place was to find his sister, and come to find out his sister was actually one of the people that we probably already heard about from Mr. Paka. One of she was might have been on the team of people who the guy who got sent away for eternity for disobeying or something like that. She might have seen that actually go down. Excuse me, I got hiccups out of nowhere. Um, so that really kind of changes a little bit too of the actual timeline of how long these things can go on for. Because she was gone for 2 years, And after he shows up, it's not like someone's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, well, 2 years has gone by since, this game, I've started up this game," like nothing like that or anything obvious to give us the conclusion of, okay, this is what probably happened to her. Like nothing of the sort. But other than that, we also kind of learned just where this story could possibly go in the future in the grand scheme of uh, if these two characters keep continuing on like this, they'll break the rules, and they'll probably wind up getting in more trouble than they're supposed to sooner or later, and because of that, they might lose them as teammates, and if they lose them, we all know who's going to be very, very angry that not everybody made it through, so they're playing with fire when it comes down to this guy. Not to mention the fact that he shows up and kind of just makes the guy who's a straight up like demon lord dang there because he's so big and powerful, like fear him. He's like, if you do this, you will never be able to see your daughter again. Like I will end all traces of you trying to have a good life here if you continue this. And he he uh he learned real quick that guy wasn't playing around, so that's kind of what I expect from this ridiculously uh motivated to make these kids do this game person, that he's going to make sure the rules are as good as possible for them to at least win. There should be a way to win, and there should be a way to lose. But what I guess the grandpa was doing, the grandpa demon, was breaking that rule somehow. But the wordings that the Paka guy uses in that instance was very, very interesting. Like, if you do this, you'll destroy the whole game, or like you're messing with the whole, like one person was getting the treatment as if he was the whole entire team or something, or almost as if he's a very important piece, and if he's gone, he might not be able to get information. I don't know. This was a really good little sprinkle of that doubt of what's going on, or what this guy with the mask is doing here in the first place. We literally get our main character asking him, "Hey, I'm good at escape games, and why don't you just make a deal with me, or come out with us and escape with us? Like, let's all work together to get out of this, and I'll get you out of here too." And he's like, I can't leave," and he wants to know why, and come to find out that he made a promise. And I'm just gonna go on a limb here and say some crazy stuff, because even the girl with the glasses and the scientist girl figured this out too, or like saw what I saw. That threw me off is, why was he crying after he was told that, he's like, "I can't go with you," he's like, "I made a promise and I just can't go." It's like, so why was our main character crying? Almost as if he knows this guy in disguise, or maybe he's been here before. Like, what the heck is going on in this show, man? I freaking love it. But yeah, we find out that the daughter, or the granddaughter, who pretty much, gets everything she wants and will continue to get whatever she wants until the grandpa probably dies off, and they have to make a new game evolving around some other demons or something. But we learned that there was a bracelet that the guy who came here for his sister, or who's been looking for his sister, that played the beta, she dropped her bracelet, and he knew exactly it was his sister. So to see that, and then to finally like actually run into the person who would know the most about her, to hear that she didn't she's like, "I don't remember her face, and if I did, she's already gone," or like she's like, "You look familiar, you look like somebody I know," and then she's like, "Oh," he's like, "Is my sister here? You're like, have you seen someone like me 2 years ago?" She's like, "2 years ago? I don't remember all my dolls' faces," and that's exactly why she said it, because she knew it would make him mad. It would do something to him, and that's another thing that this show has done really well is they pick with those, those topics, or like you are feeling this type of way and I'm going to exploit it, like they have no problem showing us that characters know how to exploit others. And I don't know, it's getting just always more and more interesting every time I see it. And we witness more characters within this world that's intelligent enough to do these things, to push people to certain edges. And then she tries to do it even with the guy who just left his grandpa, and he saw a picture of her and her grandpa, and he like put the picture downwards. He didn't even want to see that type of stuff. So, not saying that she knew that, but she could feel it in the air tonight just by like feeling his vibe, right? She's like, "Oh, you're like jealous of me and my grandpa, and this and that." And then she says, well, that was like the most blasphemous thing she could say to someone. Or she said that you were never loved, huh? Or like you never had anyone that cared about you and stuff like that. But the whole point of her saying all this was just like with the other guy. She was saying it to get under their skin. She was saying it to get a rise out of them. And because she did get a rise out of one of them, she's like, oh, I could get a rise out of this guy too. I would not be surprised if he actually like bopped her on the head one or something with the umbrella or something. He's like, now I can toy with you until until as fun as I want. And that was kind of like telling that he wanted to scare her enough to get the truth out of her about the sister, which she actually supposedly doesn't remember her face. Like maybe she did escape. I mean, not to mention they're all wearing masks on like after a while, so that it makes sense that she wouldn't actually remember their faces when you put a mask on them, so you don't even have to look at their face. So I don't know. This episode was awesome, like I was saying. I dropped Viking first, so if you guys checked out both of these, I truly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I definitely will be talking to you probably later today when I get another video out, or if not today, tomorrow for sure. So, with all that being said, I will definitely talk to you later. Peace. Bang.